What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Fortheboys podcast. This podcast is created for, I think, like the brothers, sisters out there, and just a safe place to share their journey, their struggles with life, and you know, all the stuff you don't really get to hear. And with previous guests, they share some of their darkest moments and how they got out. We don't all know the answers to life, but you know, what better way to do that is to share our experiences with life, and so that someone out there, if they're struggling, they may help, or they may you know, watch or listen, and hear this sort of stuff. I'm Teza, by the way.
I'm Will's Edgewalker. Is Terry was saying, this is obviously the platform for that conversation. Let's normalize it, and that's why we're here. We're sharing ours, we're sharing others, and we're encouraging those to get in. Just a disclaimer: we're not professionals, but we are professionals, as I keep saying. So we're just here to TOAILOA, and yeah, let's go.
I like again, just want to touch on sorry about my dog in the background, but just want to touch on how we're not professionals, but you know, we get everyone's input. We also, you know, reach out to the chat or the live chat to come through and send questions for our guests or for us, but more so for our guests, because you know, they're the guys that we're bringing on. You know, I think they're role models to, I could say, everyone in New Zealand, because they see, well, for me personally, I've seen some of their highlights, and damn, bro, they're beast, bro. Like, comparing them to, or played on the field of some of the best in the world, and to do it at that level and continue to do it, it's amazing, and it's a big task for them. But we know that us as Islanders, we've got the, you know, the mental state for it, the body, and as you can see with these guys jumping on, bro, they're big units, man. I should go and put my t-shirt on after this when I bring the boys on. I don't know why I'm wearing this. Nah. But without further ado, I'd like to bring on the Usos, Lance, LEOTA, and Lone TOAILOA. And again, bear with me with my we don't have producer. The man's usually on here. I'm doing all this, but now I've got the mouse. What's up, brother?
What's up, man? Yeah, I just gotta say that intro was awesome, man. I was like, whoa, this is legit, man. Look at all these damn, man, this is awesome, man. Yeah.
Oh man, I think you know, 60 episodes, I should be getting something right, especially with you guys jumping on.
That's awesome.
All that pressure. But how are you brothers, bro?
Doing good.
Yeah, good.
Oh, that's good to hear, man. You know, we had a good chat before actually pressing the live, and I was just saying to the brothers, like, hopefully I have those questions again, which I don't. You know, we had a good chat, and I was like, I knew this was going to happen, but before we move on, I'd just like to plug in our sponsor, who's come on board and basically just helped out with all supporting us from the back, and how we, you know, move forward in this podcast arena, or, you know, like the boys will do. You know, they're doing all the mahi in their code. We're trying to do our best. So at Mask Familiar, who's yeah, they're amazing team. They have a page at the moment. It's under construction due to the COVID requirements in New Zealand. I think they're changing mask, or some sort of masks, the mandate for it. But still have to plug them in because they've been amazing. So back to you, brothers. We'll start with you, Lone. Yeah, where did it all start, and who are you, brother?
Oh well, so my name is LEOTA. I'm just an ordinary kid from West Auckland. So, stayed up there in New Lynn. Attended, the national champs for, the Auckland champs for first 15. Castle Boys High School. Just got a little plug out there, So shout out to my boy. So started this journey, back in 2014. My coach right here, he's watching. Shout out to Coach Vaka, Coach Jason Vaka. And he stayed out there in Avondale when I first started training with him. And we used to just hit him up at 6 a.m. in the parks. Had our little sessions over there, just preparing for this journey, coming over here. It was awesome. My journey started when Coach Losse came down from the States, and he came and watched our final game back in 2014. It was our under-19s game, and he came and scouted 3 of the boys, and 2 of us went. Me and my boy Houston went over there to America and played junior college out there. He went to City of San Francisco. I went to my junior college of Mount San Antonio College down over here in SoCal. And man, it really just started at a park in Avondale. That's pretty much a short story. Started at a park there in Avondale with my coach Waka, and yeah, that's pretty much just don't want to take too much time and let my man Lance answer that question too.
Nah, bro,
Tell
you
us
guys
the real stories. What's up, everyone? My name is Lance. Born and raised in Auckland, Middlemore Hospital. I went to LaSalle and graduated at American Samoa. My story started in Rewa. I was just going for a stroll in Melville Park, and I saw a football team training JC Spartans. And I wanted to give it a go because I wasn't too great at rugby myself. So got the papers, met some good people around there, and I think that's where I played with Ryan Asalele. I think that was when my first year I was playing with that guy. My journey started there, playing football. My passion grew from that. And long story short, my brother back in Samoa, he met my mentor with Richard Brown. He played in the NFL for 12 years, and he basically paved the way for me, got me in. We settled like a year of training. After that, he sent me to American Samoa, and things just went smooth. I played 2 years there for Leone High School, and that's just where it started. My journey kicked off from there.
Oh, shut, man. You guys are pretty humble. I know your guys' career, being a pro athlete, it's a lot more words than what you guys gave in your intro. But it's also credit to your upbringing as well. About you guys are still humble, still grounded, but you have goals to becoming like some of the best in the game. And I just want to touch on how everything started before you chose to play football. Because as Islanders, and we spoke about before, we're quite gifted. Looking at you guys, big units. What sports, or did you play any sports before picking up the football? Going into the football arena.
Okay, sweet. I played, growing. I think my first sport was rugby. Yep, played rugby. I think I started under 7s with Suburbs, and so I also played for first 15, 2 years for my year 13 and my repeat year in year 14 as well. Also did Brazilian Jiu Jitsu with Steve Oliver and me before going into as an American football player. So yeah, those are my sports.
I played rugby back at LaSalle, but I think it was just the lunchtime rugby, and I just kept it at that. Other than that, I picked up like just certain skills with boxing and kickboxing, just to get my body active and moving. But yeah, nothing special.
Was it the lunchtime special where you're using your fist as well?
That was the last time running straight, man.
Yeah. Roll. Well, your turn now. You got it.
This was get bumped off, roll the ball to them, like, yo.
And everyone like stands back, and it's just everyone watching you, just
So,
you two.
ooh,
back and
yeah.
forth. Who's gonna cry or who's gonna walk away?
Yeah, man.
Yo.
Now back to you, Lone, because you've accomplished quite a lot before you actually went into the football code. Are you still doing jiu-jitsu?
Nah, so I stopped as soon as I started training for American football. So I started my jiu-jitsu journey back in 2014 because I just got out of high school 2013, and I kind of wanted a break from rugby because like first team demanded a lot, and I kind of was like, man, like I don't know if I had the passion for that right now. So I kind of was, and I was a big Mark Hunt. I mean, I still am a big Mark Hunt fan, and I was just, and then I found out that his home gym was actually in a 5-minute drive from where I stayed down over there in Glen Eden. So I kind of just did a little bit of Googling and found Steve Oliver and his gym, Oliver MMA, and jumped up on that in January 2014. And man, like they talk about when you do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, if you get really into it, you catch the Jiu-Jitsu bug, and that's just like you're just fiending for more and more, and like learning, and it's still to my day. Like I love football with a whole passion, but man, like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is up there too. And when I retire, when I'm done with football, there's not going to be any hesitation for me to jump back into that, man, because that I was just as hungry as I was as I am here with this sport as I was just doing it for fun with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Just waking up at 5 a.m. and like, because I didn't have a car back then, man. I was doing the walks, man. I walked from New Lynn to Glen Eden, it's about an hour walk, and I'll go to the gym and show up for the 6 a.m. sessions, man. And it was just for the love of it, man. I was really so into it, And it was unfortunate, man. Like stuff happened with the competitions, but then football popped up, and it's yeah, sweet. To that, yeah.
And sorry for yourself as well, Lance.
Sorry, was that also?
Oh, just like you said, you picked up rugby. Was there any other sports that you thought, I'll give it a go, and maybe you're good at? Don't be too humble. You can talk about it.
No, honestly, when I picked up football, I was still really young. I think I was only 13, and I don't think after that my passion just stayed on football. I pursued football like since I was a real young, and then just getting early exposure and like the help that I was getting at that time was a real motivation for me, and I think that's what set my eyes straight. And just hearing from also Lone's jiu-jitsu pathway, and it's just passion. I think when you find the passion for something and you go for that strive, I think that sticks with you, and it goes a long way. If you really stick to it, and if it's something you love and you want to do it, man, you got to see the end to it.
100%.
Yeah, 100. Especially if you're you guys are doing well at it. So, bro, you got to push for. Just before I move on with Will's question, I'd just like to bring in Uso. Welcome back, Mafia Uso. Going Uso.
Sabos.
Yeah, we're just
Hello, lads. Lonnie.
What's up? Hello.
Wills and Terry. Hello, boys. It's been a minute.
it's good to see you, mate. Good to see you. Over to you. Sorry, Wills. And shout out to the chat.
No, just a question, obviously, to the boys, but we'll start off with you, Lonnie. Just the whole transition of being scouted as a young man, having to move to the other side of the world. How was that transition for you and your family?
It was, well, man, that's a good question, man. It was a very big change, when I first came out here. Just being in a different scene, I was excited. My family was excited for me. They full on support, for my parents, for my brother, for my whole tribe out there in Auckland. Big support to come out here. But man, it was it was a big change, you know, just from like when you were like, I'd never seen you know, a Mexican before I came here, and I was at LAX. I was like, wow, this is also like, you know what I mean, like just ethnic groups that you only see on TV that never come to New Zealand or you don't see around New Zealand. Just seeing different ethnic groups, you know, and just like coming out of LAX, and then I used to play Grand Theft Auto, you know, GTA 5, and this is what I used to drive around with. So no, it was awesome. It was a really exciting change, and I was excited for it, man. It was, you know, and then like the culture shock just starts kicking in, and then like 5 months later, you start getting a little homesick and say, oh man, like damn, like I'm really out here in the world by myself right now. You know, like my parents are on the phone, but you know, I can't go see my parents. I can't get a home cooked meal. But no, it was exciting at first, and then a kind of like reality hit, you know, and then yeah, but it was an awesome experience, you know. That change was needed for me to grow as you know, from boy to man, you know. So no, it was awesome.
What?
Yeah, nothing less than what Moni said. My traveling started. I think I was only 14, and I went to Samoa. I got my training in with Richard, and then got to my school in Leone, and I knew it was real from there because you know, I've never done schooling in Samoa or whatever, and I was there with not with strangers, but like at that time I was still young. I was still a kid. I didn't really know how to adjust, so I was just going with the flow, what people were doing, and just the football background there was really tough, and I think it was a big shift for me because those guys are elite. They've been taught how to play football since the ground get-go, so just the speed kind of changed for me there, and I kind of adjusted towards the end, which got me to landed me my flight to America was with actually with 4 other Usos, Perry, Zach, Bolo, and us 3. I was the 4th, sorry, and it kind of set a tone for myself because I knew if I went on my own it would have been real difficult. So that's a big shout out to Lonnie on doing that. But I had 3 other soldiers with me, and it was a big step. It was a big step for me in America, and as you said, ethnic groups were like, it was kind of like a jab to the left, right. I was like, oh, whoa, what's going on here? But yeah, it was sweet. It was good experience, just seeing like how quick the game is in America, and you know how they treat like internationals, and it was something to live for. It was sweet. It was bittersweet.
Nice. And
Nice.
obviously, just to add on to that question, and we'll start with you, Lonnie. What's keeping that motivation for you to keep going? Because I guess as a young man leaving your comfort zone, your family and everyone here, and then heading over there, it's so easy for us just to go, oh fuck this, you know, I'll just easily jump on a plane and go back home. So what's motivating you?
Yeah. Just what's motivating me is just the whole reason to why I left. You know what I mean? You leave the tribe to help the tribe in sort of a way. You know what I mean? You're going out there like I'm out here to my first goal out here was to try and make pros just so I can help out my parents and my brother, and now there's still the same goal. Now I've got a wife in the picture now too, so that's also like adding to the fire, and that's always been the reason, and if your wife's strong, it's just carried me throughout my whole journey. I'm just trying to make them really proud, especially with my brother. I'm really trying to make my brother proud too. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, for me, it was more of given the opportunity. So, because I knew back then a lot of people don't usually get that opportunity internationally to travel for sport, and especially our people. And knowing in that time, I just knew that this is something that I wanted to do, and I've given the opportunity. So you got to take it in the chin and just smash it all out. But that was the start of my first journey. And now, just adding to the fire, I got a little girl and a fiance, so that just gave me more motivation for my trip to Germany. So it was just, the opportunity and blessings there, to be honest.
Nice.
I just want to talk about something when I first moved flew over to the States, and like you said, Lone, first your first Mexican, or just different nationalities there, and you're like, damn, you're somewhere different now. It's not like home. You see, you just know it's a different atmosphere. So we had to go to this hotel that was not far from the airport. We rocked up. We went into the room, and it looked like shit you see on like those murder cases. The room was shit, bro. Like, but we had to stay there for 2 nights because the other hotel we were meant to go to, for some reason, might have been out. But I was loading the bag, loading the missus' bags inside, and I went outside and I just stood in that. I was just trying to soak in the atmosphere and how everything changes. And on the corner there was Mexicans just preaching. They were screaming, bro, and I was like, oh man, they look cool, And one guy turned around and started screaming at me. I was shocked, but I didn't know what to do. And I turned around and I see this black guy just doing this, walking up, getting closer, bro. And that's when I thought, fuck, I'm gonna be one of those murder cases. This guy's looking at me, his pants were down to his knees, bro. He was muscly as too, bro. He was just eyeing me out, and I was like, trying not to look at you. He got closer. I just, oh fuck, I'm out of there, bro. I didn't want nothing to do with this dude, but the whole change. Yeah, and just to say, I was like, no, I was pretty scared, bro. It was a different atmosphere, and I didn't want to, test people. So went inside, and then I told the wife, I was like, oh fuck, bro, we gotta lock the store. I don't know, this guy might be after me. And set the tone. I didn't go out of that motel for the 2 nights we were there.
That's actually a funny story, because what happened when my parents first came out with my brother, 2 weeks after I just came over here, they came over there for a family reunion over there in Utah. But then when they came, I was staying with my cousin when my family was staying with my auntie. And I didn't know that they booked reservations to go to stay at like a motel, but so they just got the cheapest thing that was by the LAX. And if you know where LAX is, it's by Inglewood. So they went and booked the motel right there in the hood. And as soon as we pulled up, I was like, "Ma, we got to get out of here." She's like, "Why didn't you help us with the planning?" I was like, "I didn't know you guys are going to Inglewood. Like, you guys ever heard of Inglewood?"
Oh,
So, man, as soon as I got there, I was like, man, you could just tell it wasn't a good vibe. So it was like we moved closer to where my uncle was staying over there in Paramount. But man, I know exactly what you mean, man. Like, that was
honestly,
experience as well.
we stayed at the same place. It was, and it made it even worse. Like, when we went to where we needed to buy food from, we got there in the afternoon and it was late, bro. And most of the places you have to walk into, I didn't want to taste, because people were saying, "Oh, don't go to the drive-through, like the Macca's in there. It's not nice." So we just did. But man, went into like a lot of the locals, and as soon as we were driving past, it's like, I can't walk there. I can't walk there.
Yeah.
Just driving past mini players, like, shit, bro, what I'm gonna eat? Turn around, go back to Macca's or BK's. It was shit, but that's the only thing I could eat those 2 nights.
Safest thing to eat.
Man, it's real out there in LA, man. It really is. It really is, honestly. Staying here for a few years, like not to go there at night. Nothing good happens after 10.
Luckily, I was sleeping at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I was just got a question from the chat from Alexo. Lone, Lance, what's something you've done which makes you proud of your culture? Shout out to Alexo.
Oh, yeah. You want to take this one first, Lance? Oh.
Yeah, mainly for me was just just being from NZ and the heritage, Samoa heritage, man. It's I think for me it's a big thing where just getting this blessing, playing football professionally, being in the combine as well, is that not a lot of people get that platform, and it's I think it's something, just for our people, like, of course I'm proud, my family's proud, and I'm like, I just think it's a big thing for our people as well, our culture, and like, it's just something that you don't see every day. You don't see like our people are given this opportunity, and it's just something that it's, I wish like a lot of like athletes in New Zealand and like Samoa, Polynesian athletes get the exposure, and it's just, yeah. Thanks, Lexo.
Yeah. Just from my side, in 2019 at Cal, we had a Polynesian Heritage Day, our Heritage Game, and it was pretty cool just being the face of it. Just being a Polynesian player myself, and then putting my face up on the on the pamphlets to come out, and it was awesome, man. It was a cool day. Like, they brought out all the island food out there in the plaza in front of the stadium, all of the Hawaiian meals out there, and just being a part of that, because it was our first Polynesian Heritage Day that Cal Football's put on, and they continue to putting that on as they trying to recruit players. But I feel like at that moment, like, damn, like, we're really ripping our culture right now. And with Cal Football, we only had 5 Polynesian players at the time right now, and I think now in the current roster it's doubled. It's like 12 now, 10 to 12 now. So yeah, it's pretty cool, man. So put on for the culture. Appreciate Alexa for the question.
Alexo, and just going back on your schooling over in the States, or in your schooling in SAR, how much of it is different, but also how hard is it for schooling, as like, especially going to a foreign place and having, like, obviously the family you can call, but just not having them around you? I think it's kind of like a similar question to what Wills was saying. But yeah, just how different is the schooling there?
Yeah, over here in America, it's it's a different English. There's English, and then there's American English. So kind of learning, like, Thai with how they spell it in New Zealand, T-Y-R-E. It's over here, it's T-I-R-E, and just kind of getting used to that. And I think, like, now I'm so used to, with all the papers that I've written, like, I've pretty much formed into the American English as well now. But kind of just getting over that first wasn't too challenging. I think what the most challenging part for me was when I went to junior college, was just getting back into school, because I graduated in 2013 December, and then I started again up in August 2015. So I kind of had that gap year in between a year, and I was just working in New Zealand, bouncing over there at Hangar Bar in West Auckland. That's where I was right there. Just bouncing. Yeah, so I was bouncing over there, man. Shout out to the IPS boys. IPS security. No, I think, but no, it was challenging at first, man. My first semester, I struggled with my grades, my midterm report. And this is kind of coming from a background of, like, how I had to repeat my last year of high school as a year 14. And I was a prefect at Cal State too, and the head of house and everything. And then, you didn't pass level 3. I was like, yeah, I guess I'm going back. So kind of like going through that journey too it was embarrassing at first, but now I look at it as pride, because and I'll tell you the reason why. But I struggled again in my first semester of high school, because I was doing the same mistakes as I was in my year 13 year. I was paying too much attention to my football. And, in America, it's called a student athlete, and I was just focusing on the second part rather than the first part. So my midterm report, I was taking 4 classes at the time. I had 2 Fs, 1 B, and 1 C. Shout out to rock music history, because that was the class that held it down for me. But I was able to, I had a really good phone call with my brother. My brother, graduated from University of Auckland, Bachelor of Science, majoring in math. So, you can imagine him, my brother, and then there's me, like the guy that went back to year 14. So I was so I called him up. I was like, man, like I don't know the recipe on how to succeed in school right now. So I hit my brother up saying, and I remember this call because like it really changed the path of like my education in high school. And my brother and I was like, man, how do you do this, man? Because like I've grown up and I've seen you at your desk, like working hard, enjoying studying, while I'm over there trying to look like I'm studying. So my dad should be in the room. I'm just pretending like I'm studying. Like so, like I was like, man, like how do you do this? He's like, oh, so I've seen you wake up early in the morning at 6, way before everyone wakes up, and I've seen you work hard for what you do. You know, you put a lot of effort in your football, and I've never seen anyone so dedicated. So all you have to do is shift that motivation into your schoolwork. And he said, if you can put that into your schoolwork, you're gonna be a scholar. And like I was thinking, I was like, man, I was like, I can work hard. And it was a cool conversation having with my brother because he was able to teach me that I can transfer your work ethic into different parts of your life. And so, man, that semester I was able to revive my grades. I pulled out 3 C's and 1 B, work music history. So, and I kind of just set the path for it the whole time. I was able to pass every single class in junior college. I graduated with a great GPA, and then I was able to accept any kind of offer I wanted to. And then I went to Cal, struggled in my first semester, but I was still able to pass, and I was able to graduate from Cal and from my whole college journey, I never failed a class. So coming from a repeater to like going through college and not failing a class, like it was a lot of hard work. Trust me, especially when you got to Cal, there was a lot of hard work, because they didn't give you no easy treatment, like, oh, because you're playing football. Nah, like you're a student as well, just like everyone else. But you had to put on 40 plus hours of football as well on top of that, So it was a grind, man. But I'm able to stand here, like, be proud of my journey, even my failures back in the past. Like, I'm just so good. I'm able to talk about happy, and like not be ashamed of it.
Mean.
Sorry if that was just too much, but yeah.
That's the gems right there, bro.
That's the gems, man.
Not the changing, the changing the voice guy. Sorry, now I'm just in the moment, But you, Lance.
No, I think it was the same with me with the student athlete side of things. Well, I was stuck in the football world and watching YouTube all the time, looking at like different football moves to learn instead of put my head in the books and this and that. But it started off when I was in Samoa. Schooling in Samoa was just different for me because I was at La Salle. Everything's in English, and then boom, you're in Samoa, and everyone's like, the slang's all in Samoan, and you're trying to pick up to the slang instead of like, picking up the books, but everything's in Samoan though. So for me, it was just, all right, I'm gonna still do football. Not gonna worry about school, and just see how it comes then. And I eventually graduated. I just made the mark to graduate. Then the transition to the American English was the toughest thing because I was caught up with that college life. I'm playing JUCO now. It's a big thing for me. So I'm gonna worry about football and not worry about the books. And that caught up with me eventually. So it was challenging because you had to wake up early in the morning for practice, then hit your class, do all your study subjects, and then back on the field. And then after that, you go home and you got to you study and then watch film till like 10, and wake up 6 a.m. again. It's a hard life, and I think that JUCO struggle, like Lone and everyone else that's been through the process. It's a real struggle, but it's a humbling process.
Mean.
And also, we have some more questions in the chat. Sorry, we like to divert, but we'll get back on track when
just before you go, Terry, just for your question.
Yep.
Just a quick question for the boys. Now that you're on a higher scale, from New Zealand football, how much bigger are the athletes? Like, I played defensive end for the Wildcats, and I was the smallest defensive end. So, like, I can just imagine like America being the main country for it, and all these big fellas from every country who had been trying to make it end up there, and then here you come from from New Zealand and stuff. Like, I could imagine, you know, these guys have been born and bred to play football from a real young age, but we're not. We just, you know, it's a very small sport we've been trying to get up here. Just so much bigger and stronger are these guys, and then like that's got to be another mental game on top of, you know, all the hardships that you're already coming up against. But yeah, how much more of that does it play a factor into football itself? Like, yeah.
Do you want to start first? Oh yeah, no, yeah, I can take it. Just from my experiences here, they're big. Honestly, they're big dudes, man. Like, especially because, like, you know, I'm also a defensive end, defensive tackle, and I'm 6'2", and I'm considered undersized for my position. You know what I mean? And it's, man, these guys are like 6'5", 6'6". You know, they weigh a lot more, and they lift them a lot more on the playing field. And you know, it's kind of, I think, for my experience coming from a rugby background, ultimately, you know, the different ways we lift and train within rugby, you know, it's more cardio based, it's more, you know, circuit based workouts. Well, in America, it's like they're being born and bred with like just power workouts, you know, 5x5s, you know, and they're kind of taking their rest. And you know, so like when I first came here, like it was kind of, I had to take a couple of years to adjust my body into like changing it into a football player. So it like, yeah, I think like it does serve these guys, you know, when these guys being farmed from a young age into, you know, within the weight rooms and their weight program to play for their specific sport and for football, it does put them in a bit of spotlight and just a bit of, you know, just it puts them in a better level right now, you know. But I feel like we have a different mindset too. I feel like our culture, coming from New Zealand, being a little bit more humble than our brothers out here in America, and just having that, you know, having a little bit of a more disciplined mindset. I would say just from our culture, just from like what we breed back at home. We don't talk back to our parents, so therefore we don't talk back to our coaches. You know what I mean? Like, it's that kind of attitude that kind of like, in my opinion, does put us ahead of some of our brothers that do play out here in America, in my experiences. But yeah, physically, they do have the advantage. But I feel like we have big players, big athletes in New Zealand, just like these guys do, that we need to tap into. And if we get these guys on the same similar pathway with with the stuff that we are taught from at home in terms of how we respond and discipline, and our work ethic that we get instilled from a young age, I think that's going to be an exciting time. And I think Jordan Mailata is just a little taster that these Americans haven't seen yet, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, just follow up on Lone. 100% agree on the mental side of things. You know, I'm one of the smallest D linemen that's showed up every team I played, and I've been considered undersized. But at the end of the day, it's who's got the biggest heart, and that thing just comes from where I came from, where I started. You know, us Islanders, we have that mindset. Like you know, whoever lines up in front of us,
Let's go.
we're gonna stand all over them.
Yeah,
So I think that's what gave me 100%. That's what gave me the you know, the upper hand, because I don't know if anyone who's played up against me that they know too. Like, you know, it's all like heart, aggressiveness, and you know, it's just preparing yourself, because you know that you've suited up, you're gonna play, so you're honestly not gonna let another man bully you. So that's the whole drive of things. And my whole process, to be honest, I've been considered undersized, but on the film, it's not about the size, it's about the height.
That's the one, Us.
That's the one. Don't lie.
Yeah.
Nice.
I like how you guys, you know, size wise, and there's a lot of different training that goes into for example, playing rugby and then going into football. Like what you just said, Lance, doesn't matter about the size. How much of it does it play in your head when you come against these guys that their numbers are like, fuck, how the hell did they get there? But yet when you jump on the field, different story, like all this like heavy lifting, these PBs, how much it goes down the toilet, and then you're like, oh, bro, I can flip you one piece, or like because, like you said, we're from a different place.
Yeah.
We're not about. Sometimes you can look at a really big dude, but yet he might be able to run faster than any other dude. Like doesn't matter about it. But how much of that played into your guys' career?
Well, for me, it was like I never worried about the numbers. It was more about like who's ready to ball, who's ready to line up. I think for like the number side of things, it's a habit. Like I think for the other side of the ball, like seeing people born in America and that's got football as like their tool. Growing up, I feel like there's like I know that they've born and like they're raised with like bad habits because that's their second nature. So I think for me is like what I've seen is that like I've picked up this like aggressiveness because I've been taught on good habits. Like it's a fresh sport for me, and I know the assignment, which is aggressiveness, speed, kill the guy in front of you. So the biggest thing for me was like numbers didn't really matter on like in the gym, running, whatever. It was just more of like beating my opponent. And I feel like for some people it's different. It's the other way around, which gives them like which gives me the upper hand. I don't know about how people are different though.
No, couldn't agree more, man. For me, I always just look up. I don't worry about the bottom 95 inches. I worry about the top 5. And if my top 5 inches better than yours, then we're gonna rock all day. That's just how we. Especially when you played in junior college, man. Like, with my junior college, like we pride ourselves on being dogs, man. It's just mentality over anything, man. Yep, 400% agree.
Nice. And just on top of that as well, with all the pressures of the body takes, obviously going through the scheduling of how your guys' timetables are. How do you guys find times to reset, and what is your reset?
Yeah, for me right now, I think just resetting, honestly, man, it's awesome just because like I just got married in June, and just like my reset button is when I walk in through the door and I see my wife. Honestly, it's just awesome, man. Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you. We just moved into our new apartment, just starting our own little lives, and for right now, that's because if I make it through this IPP camp, I'll be leaving in January, so I'm enjoying every single moment of that I have right now with my wife, and that's my reset button right there. Honestly, just seeing her every day and just seeing her smile for me, and yeah, pretty much right now. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. For me, man, I've had a long year, man. Been following these COVID protocols in Europe. We don't get real like I didn't get much recover treatment going on, so it was basically full on day, and you're back home by like 10 p.m., 10:30, and we got to get up at 6 a.m. But within that gap, from 10:30 to 6 p.m., I got to call my partner, and it's the time zones are different, so I got to catch up to her and my little baby girl, and it's just you got to find your happiness within those few hours before you can get some rest. So it was challenging, but it's it's motivating, eh?
Nice.
I like and shout out to the wifeys and the fiance, and also congrats to you both, especially with the little one, Lance. You're in lockdown at the moment. how, like, what's that excitement like? You're gonna be home soon, and get to hold your
man.
your little one, bro.
It's gonna be an emotional one, man. It's been it's just been a long journey, and I just want to wind down now, and I can't do that yet until I'm home with my family, and I know it's gonna be a good one, man.
Sure, Rus. We'll just go back to the question. Hold up a sec. Bring that up. Yep, here we go. Question, what are your thoughts on women playing football? And shout out to the sis.
I love it. Honestly, I love it. It's cool seeing them. It's cool seeing them come out and try a different challenge and take it on. All good. More than welcome. It's just, I just say, be cautious. It is a physical sport, and if you can do it, all the power to you. I'm all for it. I love seeing that because there's a couple kickers out here in the college football right now. That's actually, lots of female kickers there. So it's awesome, and they're getting a lot of good publicity from the media outlets over here, like Bleacher Report and ESPN. So it's awesome. I love to see it. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I second that. I'm all for the sport. So by all means, whoever wants, all shapes, all sizes, can play the sport. Yeah, to go. And there's the league here in New Zealand's kicking off too. And shout out to all the females that's doing it big here. Keeping the sport alive. And we love to see girls getting hit on the field just as much as the boys getting hit too. So I know also my field so here from the Wildcat side of things, they got a good women's team, and same as Lone played for Metro Lions too. So we all part of the local.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
let's roll.
It's the one, eh? We try to get flag football up and going as well. Here with old Tyler and them. But it was just only lasted a couple of seasons, and no one would take it on. And they, I think associations and stuff, they kind of shut it down because they were running it and all that.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where I think in New Zealand they try to grow the sport because look at the opportunities it gives us, our kids. There's some of us who do have the talent that we haven't unleashed it yet. There's the league players, the league players that set up to training because they think they can do it and they can't. But then there's guys who haven't played a game or league that turn up and just once they get their first ting, that's it. They're addicted, eh?
Yeah.
So it's sad to see that it's a really hard sport to get attention over here in NZ. But it's like if you're watching this podcast, this is just two dudes in overseas doing it.
Yeah, 100%.
There's so many of the Kiwi boys who can play just as well, who can pick up an opportunity. But it's always going to be hats off to you guys for pursuing it because, like you guys said, it's look at the selection, the processes that you have to go through and all the hardship you've been through to get where you are. So it's always hats off to you guys. It's I haven't played for probably the last 4 or 5 years now, but body's getting old, can only take so much, and you guys are young, so there's a difference. But yeah, man, it's our women's team were pretty cool. It was pretty cool to watch them just keep taking on Metro Lions because they're the only two teams who put women's teams in. So that's pretty cool to watch. It's definitely a sport that I never played rugby, I never played league, but I played football.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things, eh? So you guys have done awesome, man, and you guys are I play football, so I know the mental game because the mental game is crazy in football. Rugby you can be just talented and run the ball, run around anyone if you're talented, but the mental game in American football is just massive part of the game, eh? It's I can't imagine how you guys did it and continually doing it. Man, congratulations to you guys for for just getting where you guys are now, because this is just
Getting the
yeah,
getting the
you guys
pathway
are-
for
are-
Yeah.
a lot of the young people, and you know, you're still carrying the torch like you guys are doing. You know, having family there and then returning back to family. Bro, you can kind of compare this to like the likes of MMA, like city kickboxing. How
Yeah.
you know there's this group of talented as fighters, and they're trying to pursue their dreams over in the States.
Yeah.
But the pathway there wasn't like the easiest, you know. It didn't just. They had to lead with some of the best first, and then
Yeah.
you know slowly they're trickling along. And like I think that's basically how this is all happening. Like Jordan Mailata, like you just mentioned, Lone.
Yeah.
And you know the way he's paved the way for you know poly or just anyone in general that it's not from a background or not from like the States.
Yeah.
Anyone out of the States can achieve this,
Yeah.
and you guys are doing it, bro. That's amazing. I think we touched on it before our chat, our live, and we're just, you know, I think we're in awe of you guys, and continuing to, you know, pursue this dream. And it's not a dream because you guys are touching it with both hands. And there was a question, sorry, that I was leading into, and it was from the boss man. Lance, what's your guys' advice on young guns waiting to emulate your achievements?
Oh yeah. Honestly, my advice was like, I just wanted to touch on what the also saying about the AFA. Like, you know, me and Lance just we're playing at Manford Park as well. You know what I mean? We played over there, played at Manford Park. You know, I've had my prickles on my elbows, just like I know you guys have as well. You know what I mean? And like, it is a grind, but like for my weight, like if you wanted to emulate a success, I know Lance had had Kiki help him out to get over there to ELF. I had my coach Jason Vaca, and you know, he's training guys right now over there. Like during this time, like literally I was helping him out, doing some virtual coaching with some of the athletes that he's training in right now. You know, if you want to play, if you're within the age of like 17, even all the way up to my age, 26, and you know, you feel like you have the body type to play the sport at a high level, man, you can hit my coach. You can hit me up on Instagram. Ask was details, but it's, you know, his name is Jason Buckle. You know, he goes by Bucker Jason, I believe.
You mean Laser? Let's Laser. So he goes by
That's
Laser.
Laser right there.
Actually, he's
17
actually watching live. So
yeah.
shout out to Jason.
No, I'm honestly just plugging it. If you're watching this chat right now and you're wondering, man, like, and you see yourself as someone who's trying to get into the sport, trying to come through our journey, hit that guy up right now. You know, he is the plug. You know, who I see in New Zealand right now. He's in New Zealand doing that grind, like trying to dedicate his life and his journey to helping us athletes get over here to America. Hit him up. He's got some contacts. He can hook you up. He's training guys right now, coaching guys right now, and you know, I'm helping him out with some virtual training as well. So if you're a big guy like you know, just like a lot of our people, you know, who don't feel like their body type serves the game of rugby, when they're like, you know, you might feel like you might be too big for rugby. There's American football out there for you. Know? It says every single body type that you can possibly know. Because trust me, I'm coaching over here at the junior college that I have, and we have all types of body sizes there. So it's meant for everybody. And if you want to pursue this, don't hit them up half-assed. You know what I mean? If you want it, you gotta come 100%, because he's not gonna waste time with people who beat around the bush. If you want it, you're gonna come get it. You gotta go get it. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, and I know how the process is, and how hard it is for you know, to get to a certain point. So and to see Coach Vaca doing it hard here, boys, man, it's a big blessing. You know, not a lot of people get the opportunity to, you know, see the sand and, you know, want to give it out. So it's more of like you know, it's if you can get the opportunity, that's a blessing. But you know, if you want to get it but you can't get it, like it's a real like sacrifice. So like just for Vaka doing what he's doing, big ups to you, Shaw, and thanks for doing what you're doing. And I think this is also relates to you, Shaw, Mafioso, with with everyone else, that's because it's not just me and Lonia that's out here from NZ doing it big. It's we have like the youngins coming up. We have Eddie, Jack from Metro. They're out right now. That they're also in the Juku process, and right now as they go through that struggle, they know it's gonna be all, like humbling. So just for like the youngins coming up in New Zealand, and you want to try the sport out, give it a go. Like keep grinding, train hard, work hard. Because I know everyone that's from New Zealand that's out right now, we're all gonna come together, and 100%, we're all gonna get back to the community, and it's just gonna grow the game, and like New Zealand bound to be one of the biggest places in New Zealand, like
Facts.
on the map for football. So we breed athletes. We got all the boys, we got all the athletes here. So it's more of the exposure side of things, because obviously we're international. So once those things are down and sorted, we have a good team out here. We can start, like the boys that are out, we can come together, community, grow the community, grow our athletes, and that's something one point for the Polynesians out there. So that's
yes, sir.
Big fact. So
Yeah.
Nice.
I appreciate the question though.
It's good. It's good to see. Yeah, it's we love to see it. My days of football just it kind of like finished up and finished out, like type of thing. Because the New Zealand's up and down, the sport in back home here, it's like 2-3 years it's good, and then when one team's dominating too much, it kind of just fizzles out after a while, and the same team's gonna win it again this year or whatever it is. So it's hard to keep alive. So it's hard to let those players that wanna or have the talent shine or come out, because it's all about timing for them. Whereas what you guys are going to be doing now, which is bring back the opportunities once you guys have made it and all that, bring it back home. It's going to allow those people who have the heart for it and who want it that much, the same as you guys, to take part and give it a shot. Which is again, hats off to you. Hats off to anyone who's doing that and bringing it back home for everyone else to eat off that same plate. So yeah, it's good. It's just good. It's good. I mean,
it's like a true Kiwi or Polystars is like
it's a humble. It's an island thing. The Islanders just. It's just
always giving back.
We just my also my bro, like he's got to come. It's not just me. It's we'll go eat. Type of thing. Yeah. So the Americans probably not ready for you guys, boys. Like that kind of vibe, Yeah. Everyone's kind of cocky over there, and they're just worried about their own.
Yeah.
You guys must be a fresh breath of fresh air for them, and probably humbled them big time too, eh?
Yeah, man, that's it's awesome.
Just going back to how everything, all your career, it's taken you guys places. What would you also recommend to other players that are on the same journey and they want to take, go the same route as you guys? What's some little advices like that could change, because you guys have been there? What's something small that you could change of kids that are growing up here?
Focus on the school, bro. Honestly, because if you're gonna come the junior college route, you gotta be a student as well. And like the hardest thing, when you're in junior college, it's all on you. You know what I mean? Because junior college and this college, like, just to break it down, the colleges is like the four-year pathway. This is typical way players will go if they're talented. They go from high school straight to the 4-year colleges. But for junior college, is like a step in between high school and university and college. So it's junior college, and then those is and what lies in a junior college realm are your bounce backs, where like they go from college and they're not getting them much playing time, but they feel like they can get offers from other schools, they'll go to junior college. Or athletes that don't get any offers will go to junior college. Athletes that were talented but didn't have grades. So it's basically a place for second chances. But in that realm as well, it doesn't have the funding nor like the mandatory things that a college will require for their student athletes that they have in scholarship. So it's all on you. You know what I mean? Like, there's no one that's going to come and class check you. There's no one that's going to come wake you up and force you to all like stay behind and force you to study and pass your grades. These are decisions that you make as a young man, as a young 19-year-old, leaving home. You know, you got all the freedom in the world, and you got to have that discipline to do the schoolwork. And it's not something that's not fun. It's not glamorous. It's very long nights inside the library by yourself or with your friends if they're motivated with you. You want to come on your journey, you know, you can form that pack, and that's what I did. But like, it's something that you need to do. It may sound simple to do your schoolwork, but it is hard to do because you got all the freedom, you got all the temptations in the world. You can do whatever you want. No one's looking over your shoulder to see what you're doing. You have this freedom to yourself. So I would advise highly, if you're going to come through the junior college route, get your schoolwork done, because that's going to open up so many doors, and you don't want to block your blessings by not having any grades to transfer over to a 4-year. Yeah, that's what I got to say.
Yeah, Lonnie's pretty hit it on the head there. First thing is student, second athlete, and you know, doing that, it comes a lot of like, you know, distraction. Most of the time, you're heated on being the athlete and forgetting that, you know, you got an exam the next day. So it's mainly like coaches, like Division I coaches, you know, NFL coaches, whatever. They'll take the athlete that's passed their class with good character, and like that's, you know, half athlete, then the athlete that's just 100% athlete and zero class, zero scholar. They'll take that person over everything because they could work with like a smart player that can adapt than a player that's a dumbass. So just being real, like it's long story short, it's real out there. But it's not an easy path, which is why most of us Islanders struggle with like not being sad and just being real. We all just focus, us Islanders all only just focus on the half side of things, which is, you know, gym, working out, on the field, playing game. That's it. But not forgetting that, but forgetting everything that you're supposed to come. Like, you know, you're supposed to meet the 50% standard, which is, you know, turn up to class, you know, be the best man, character. You know, you're not somewhere where you're just down the road. You're on the other side of the world. You can't play football like that, like at home, back at home in New Zealand. Like where you want to achieve your goal is it's other side of the country, and, you know, other side of the world, and, you know, it's that thing where you gotta pull in, like, you gotta pull your weight, and it's student athlete first, then athlete. It's a hard process, but humbling. You know, it builds character too. So it's not just like it's gonna be a hard process, but, you know, it builds character. So it's nothing to be shy about. It's just straight 100% real, and that's how life is, to be honest.
Yes.
Nah, that's it sounds so easy, but Bear, it's you know, you guys have gone to the other side of the world and actually, you know, doing this. Again, just you guys have sacrificed a lot. You know, time with family, and a good quote you just said, Rodney, was you know, you have to leave the tribe to feed the tribe. Was there any temptations, like, and I'm sure there's millions, you know, because you have a plan to do this, but I'm sure along the way there's a lot of temptations in regards to, like, you know, the alcohol and all the stuff as Islanders, you know, like, who doesn't love the alcohol? I'm not saying I'm an alcoholic, but you know, that sort of stuff is there. How much of the sacrifices did you have to go through and, like, say, fuck, I can't do that. I don't have enough time for this. I don't have enough time for that. And yeah, just talk about those struggles, bro.
Yeah, I think it was the big wake up call was like just getting that midterm report in that first semester, you know, just getting that midterm report, and then you know, like, oh damn, maybe I can't have that much fun on the weekends like I have been. And then just kind of learning and adapting and finding your way on how to like stay focused. I think treating like you don't have to cut it all off. You know what I mean? You can find your balance, but I'd say find your balance. And if you know you're gonna find your balance when you're still enjoying what you're doing, but you're getting everything done, and not just getting done at like any kind of level. You're getting it done on a high level. You know what I mean? You're getting your B's, you're getting your A's. Okay, sweet. I'm gonna test out if I can have a little bit of fun in this day. And then it's just kind of trial and error until you kind of see what level amount of like, can you have fun to the amount that I need to perform at a high level in terms of my schoolwork and on my football. Because if those two things, you know, and you need those two things to complement each other. You know, you can't just be good in school and then you can't be bad at school and expect to be good at football. These things come hand in hand, in my opinion, because especially what I noticed was that like whenever I was lacking in school, my technique that week or that month wasn't really on point too. And when I started just focusing on one area of my life, I started expanding into all the other areas and what I was doing. But you just kind of find that balance. That's how I kind of worked it out with my junior college, and why my second and my third year in junior college was a lot more successful than my first few semesters. So I think just finding that balance between having fun, knowing when you can have fun and let your head down loose, and enjoy the times when you can. You know what I mean? Because you know, when you're having fun, you have fun. But when it's time to work, it's time to work. You know what I mean? So I think just finding the balance in between, from my point of view. Yep.
Yeah. Nah. You got it on the head there again. For me, it was obviously, the alcohol and the partying side of things was that's the main temptation, and I think you really fall into it when you're trying to follow a crowd, and you know, you got your head like you know, as you said, find your balance. But then when you lose yourself, it's a hard path to get back on. And I'm not gonna lie, I did fall into temptation there, the alcohol side of things. But you know, it's something you gotta remind yourself daily that your why, and why you're there, and like who you're doing it for, your family, and you know, I think it's just the main thing is just your reminder, telling like, you know, your family is why you're there, and temptation is not the key. And sorry, I'm just going off track right now. It's just Lone pretty much said it all. Lone pretty much said it. Temptation is of course there, and you know, it's not priority. So sorry, boys.
The reason why I ask is just a mate asked me how's the parties over in the States, you know? Is it as good as it's on TV? You know?
Yeah. Honestly, going to college, I think my first experience was when I went and saw when I visited my you know, then my girlfriend, now my wife, because she went to UCLA, and I met her at a Halloween party, and that was when I was like, damn, I'm in America. It was really cool. It is what it looks like in the movies. It's a lot of fun, a lot of people, and just everyone having a good time. Yeah, it's a cool experience. Yeah.
We'll finish off on Lone on that. What did you go dressed up as, Lone?
Bro, I went my first Halloween. I went in my school uniform. I went in my Castle uniform. I wore my Castle senior shirt with my representative's cap on my head. And I met my wife that night, and she was like, "What are you?" I was like, "I'm a schoolboy from New Zealand." And she thought I was putting on an accent until like we started getting on the phone. She's like, "Oh, you actually from New Zealand?" I was like, "Yeah." Yo.
Did you say that was Halloween, Us?
Yeah, Halloween.
And you're wearing your Castle uniform?
Yeah, I just bring up my Castle uniform. I was like, bro, I'm a kid from New Zealand. Like, I mean, that's pretty out of the ordinary for you guys anyways. Hey, I got my wife from that one, so hey,
It worked. It worked.
I guess it worked. Hey.
Shout out to the K.
Yeah.
We just got a question, but nah, man. Like those are the stuffs that you see on TV, and for kids like growing up. Now you guys have experienced it again. Our food. What's the go-to over there, boys? Or apart from mom's cooking, what's the go-to? Or you guys are there.
Man, I recommend hitting up your taco trucks. When I stayed up over there at Cal, we had some taco trucks over there in Oakland, and but this is not like you go to the hood Oakland for the good stuff, and go down into the National Boulevard. I mean, it's known as E14 over there. You go to some nice Sinaloa tacos, guys. You guys will love it. Honestly, I recommend the Mexican food out here.
Yeah, I follow him on that one. In San Diego, Spring Valley, California, there's a Mexican shop named Cerritos around the corner, just off the highway. I think we've given them so much money. There's four of us boys, and I think we eat there every night, man. It's the Mexican food's on, man. Like the tacos and the fries, they put the meat on or the sprinkles, whatever they put it to it. It takes you. It's magical there.
Yo, can't get wrong with a burrito, man. A good breakfast burrito. That'll take you a long way. It's really good.
Just got a comment from Barry Fato. Juco route is hard because the American life fast, really fast, and it's easy to sidetrack from the goals as the main aim.
Yo.
You keep distraction away.
Totally agree with you, Barry. Yeah.
Oh,
that guy's 100% right, man. And
definitely.
And I know he is because that's the guy that I went off to America. He was my roommate, so yeah, he's seen everything, and he experienced that life too. And I think this guy's hit it on the head with when we're not adjusted to that culture and tradition yet. But once we touch down, it's like everything's hitting you fast, and it's something there where you sort of lose yourself there for a bit. But like at the same time, it's all like happiness and fun times. But it is part of the culture. But it is like a fast life. And I know Lone. I think that's why Lone stayed there.
Oh man, I totally agree, man. I totally agree. It is pretty easy to fall off track, man. But yeah, I think what really kept it was my parents are paying for my tuition, and I better not fail a class, honestly. So especially when it costs like $325 per unit. So we take 12 to 14 units per full-time semester. So it came out to almost just sub $5,000 US just for one per full-time semester. So that's like around $8,000, $9,000. So yeah, that kept me on a straight path as well. Wasn't trying to waste none of that money, man.
humble. We got more. I think the chat's been going off, and I've just been missing it. But again, shout out to just advice on discipline for our young Polynesian brothers and sisters when it comes to field smack talk. How heated us polys get. Yeah, that's something that's
that's true.
Yeah, you just gotta kind of learn to, man. And honestly, just have fun with it. Because, if it's getting to a level where it's kind of extreme, just make sure it's not affecting your performance. But and enjoy the game too, man. We're here to have fun. And smack talking, talking smack is part of it.
Americans all about that, eh?
So what's your go-to, or how what's your go-to when you're on the field, Lone? What's your go-to when
I just laugh, honestly. It's all hilarious when these guys kind of have their little shit talk as well. That's just but just I don't know, man. Just whatever they say, I just like laugh at it. Yeah.
Oh no,
yeah,
yeah.
says on the field, but
man, it's gotten real heated on the field this season, man. I've played against so there was this guy that I even told Lonnie about. We're having a heated battle, and the man uppercut me, and I sort of got like taken off track with what was the next play. But the next play was for me to do a twist around our end, and I think I got off track there, wanting to return the uppercut, and I went sick. The very next play, the man cut me, but I already swung with the uppercut. So he cut me, and I was coming with uppercut to nobody, and I fell forward, and we all just created a pile, and we watched that. We watched the film. The very next day, we watched the film, and Lonnie knows how this goes, man. The coach was just on my ass that whole day, on my ass trying to uppercut somebody. It's you gotta know your balance. You gotta know the level of performance you gotta be at, and certain points where you feel like taking someone's head off, you got to know what's the cost too. So at the time, I think I lost us the game that so I think he made me so my punishment was I went on like all three, and he made me crawl like the length of the field and back until I started saying sorry to him, and I was just crying in my head, and I didn't want to do it again. I think I passed like the 10-yard, and my tricep started locking up, so I couldn't lock out anymore. So I was crawling on my chest all the way, and the man started like trying to uppercut me. I was just trying to tell him, I'm sorry, I'll do it again. So yeah, there's the price to when you wanna play that game, but it's fun times at the same. Like it's experience, man.
You guys so quick question. You guys targeted? You know how it is over here when there's an American that comes back here and plays here, and everyone kind of finds, that guy's from America. Oh, which one? What number? Type of thing. Were you guys the same? Like, you guys are the outsiders. No, I'll get him. Is it the same case overseas as it is over here? I don't know.
Honestly,
over here, it's definitely like that.
Yeah, I've never noticed when I play, but I'm pretty sure because we during the week of like preparing for the your game, you have your breakdown of like who these players are, where they're from, and I'm pretty sure especially in my junior college and my sophomore year, like, oh damn, this guy's over here like from New Zealand and stuff like that, because I had a really good freshman year and built up a bit of accolades from that, and so like then like. So teams will start to prepare for you, and like I had a lot of my boys on my D line too that had some accolades under their names. So it was. I don't know, like you never know what goes on in the other team's film room, but like I always imagine like what they're talking of like what they might be saying of me, but like I know exactly what we're saying of them. You know what I mean? So like we say a lot of them. We have it down. It's like we have people that are hired in just to break down like who they are, like what's their tendencies, what do they like to do in a run or pass, like what their stances look like, how do they sit, like do they give any so like we study these guys a lot. So like it's always wondered like if I can go in a bird's eye view and see what they are scouting and what they're saying of us, or like me or Lance, you know what I mean, like us being from New Zealand, or do they highlight that point, or like do they say like, oh, maybe we can take advantage of this guy because he doesn't have as much experience of us, or do they like give us a bit of respect because we're at that level now and we're from where we're from, with the lack of experience that we have, but we're still there. So it always, you never know what they are saying, but it's always something that I've always wondered myself.
Nice.
So sorry, can you repeat your question again, please?
Oh, just a matter of like I know back here when we had a guy come back from the States play, and everyone on your team kind of knew they would kind of target him. Was it the same for you guys being Kiwis going to play over there? Were you guys the ones that were now targeted, or felt like you've been targeted because you guys were the Kiwis or the Freshies or the outsiders?
I think I think that happens in like some states and stuff and some teams, but for me with the Duke I was at and Cali, these people they really respect Samoans, Islanders, and they see you no matter you're Tongan or Samoan, you're an Uso to them, and they give you like real respect there, and they're actually scared. They're actually scared of the Samoans and Tongans around there. So, shout out to whoever scared those poor boys in California because it kind of made it easier for us too. So,
Shout out to the Saw Gang at Long
it's
Beach
fun
and
to see.
the TCG over here at Inglewood.
It's fun to see it, man.
Dang.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Just a question from the also. Shout out to Ryan. What's the plans for you now, boys? Now that combine is over.
Oh, shit, that's
I think we're both on the same page right now. We're both in the process of because we're both, Lona, you just turned in your numbers this week.
Yep.
So we'll find out. We'll get a phone call within the 2 weeks, and just to see if we make the selection to the international program. And I don't know how many players they take, but I think Lone was in the pathway this year, the beginning of this year, which is I think he can speak a bit more of the process than me. But for right now, I'm just waiting for a phone call within the 2 weeks to see if I make it. So
Yeah.
prayers up.
I just think for last year, I kind of started a little late with my process. I was over there in lockdown with my wife's family, and her parents are 2 doctors, so we took COVID very seriously there. Living at the family's house, so I didn't go to any gyms or any kind of facilities, or was able to link up with any coaches. So I kind of was straight off the couch, honestly. Just like mid-October, I was got on a phone call with the director of the program, Will Bryce, and we had a little conversation I don't know at the time it was an interview or if it was going to be an interview, but we just had a conversation, and he was kind of impressed about my knowledge of the sport and my experiences and stuff like that. So he told me look, I'll give you 5 weeks to train, and you can turn in your combine video at the end of November. So I did my training, try to do as much as I could. Turned in my video at the end of November, and it was actually kind of a long waiting process for me. That year, I didn't find out until December 30th, the day before that they announced who the players were. So I was like, oh, thank God they selected me, because it was a little, have a little bit of anxiety throughout that time. As you're training, you don't know if you're training for a purpose or if there's something at the end of the line. And it is kind of the same thing right now. And this process I think for me and Lance, we're not sure what the next step is going to be, whether the program decides to take us. We'd love for us to go, both of us to go, and especially with also Sean. He's also representing New Zealand. He's staying in Hawaii right now. We'd love for us 2 to go and represent New Zealand. Us 3 is a good little trio for our nation. But it's what we're doing right now. We're just staying locked in. We're still training. We're still preparing our bodies for if we get the good news, then we can go over it to January, because you don't want to. What I had to do, I turned up to this camp in January this year, in 2021. I wasn't in the best shape. I was just started training in October, so I was kind of coming off the couch. I needed to get back in shape, and it's not a camp that you want to go to try and get in shape. You want to be in the best shape of your life by the time you hit this camp. So it's something that I started training back up again. After I got the call, I took some time to kind of evaluate whether I wanted to pursue this or not. Made a decision a month later after I got the news that I didn't get into the program in May. I decided to go in June and just spark it up. I was like, hey man, I came in here for a goal. I want to try and achieve it. I still want to try and achieve it. So I've been training ever since June. Now I'm in the best shape of my life. I can honestly say that I'm more stronger, more powerful, more quicker than I've ever been in my life. And now it's just a waiting game, as you're just gonna try to stay on it. You can't let out just in case. If you get on it, then now you're gonna turn up. You got 3 more months, or 2, just less than 3 months to turn up for January and be in even more better of a shape in your life. So that's what we're kind of doing right now. Yep.
Fuck, man, that's a man, it's good to hear, bro. It's good to hear that you guys are still grinding. You know, it doesn't matter where you guys are. Just the grind is still gonna be there. Just got a few more questions, and sorry, boys, for keeping you on. We usually
It's
go for
all
an
good.
hour.
Yeah, having a lot
Man,
of
that's
fun.
been
It's
good,
cool.
bro. Like, especially for someone that has never played, and rather than on the PS4 or PS5, or not PS4, sorry, you know, this one year I was watching there was a game in I might have been out south, but this highlight was taken from some dude, must have been a newbie, Kiwi guy, who was chasing, I think, the ball player, and for someone out of somewhere just smoked him, and it was like the highlight of the whole year. Yeah, bro, like this guy, it must have been a rugby player or something, because he didn't know nothing, and he just chased for the hell of just chasing, and the man got smashed, bro. It looked like he, I don't know, might not survived.
Was that this year or last year?
No, it was a few years ago, and I think I know this dude, but bro, I don't know, like, cause I don't know much about the sport itself, but he was chasing the ball carrier without looking anywhere else, and someone must have said, okay,
That's what you don't do.
yeah.
I learned that
That's the
lesson the hard
biggest
way.
no-no. You know where the ball's going. Don't look at him. Look at who's going to spin you out.
Man, I learned that the hard way over there at Mountford Park. That's when I got blindsided for the first time. Well, felt like totally took me off my feet, landed on my back, and hopped back up. And I was like, oh, okay, now I know how it feels like to get blown up. I can do this.
Yeah, I learned the exact same way.
Yeah,
Quick return, and I turn around to run back for block.
exactly. Yeah.
The minute you turn around, pancake. Lesson
Oh,
learned.
man.
Lesson learned.
Question:
Hey, what's up,
how do you overcome adversity for both of you brothers?
Isaiah.
No, I think he's just trolling me. I think he's. I know that guy. That's why I asked because one of the biggest hits of the highlight I think it was last season. Mafia, so if you remember, yeah.
Say Isaiah.
That guy's a big hitter, and I think he will be the upcoming. So prayers up. He'll be in the process soon. So that guy needs to start hitting people his age. Eh?
I need to stop seeing him at the club. He needs to lock it down now.
From Junior, speaking on your JUCO struggles, how does your journey compare to?
That's a good question because most Kiwis, they just watch TV. Hey, that's all they know about football.
But bro, like, sorry, because I've watched their last hunt, and it's like some of them got the meanest attitude. Like they just need to just change that, and like, well, this is how the Netflix series portrays these guys. Like they just got no respect. They don't care, but they're the best players. This is how I see. I'm like, fuck. If they just change that, like,
it is.
Oh,
like
is it?
that. Yo,
That's exactly how their character side of things. I was telling you.
Do they feel like they have that right just because they're that good or something like that?
Yeah. A lot of them are just, they're really privileged with their abilities. They got the abilities. They make plays. They get the love from the coaches. Once the coaches kind of give them all the love, then I can do whatever I want now, man.
Hell no.
It is like that with some players, but don't get me wrong. There's some players that got the right head. They got that right attitude. But there are players that do take that spotlight and have that attitude. So. No, it definitely is. I think to answer the question, depending on what series you watch, I think for the first 3 seasons when they covered East Mississippi and they covered Independence, these are schools that are outside of California. Outside of California, they're allowed to they have the authorization to send out scholarships because there's only a certain amount of junior colleges within their state. Well, like say with the state of Mississippi, they have like around 10 junior colleges within their state, so they can afford to give funding towards scholarships for those states. But within California, there's 66 junior colleges within the state of California, so our state cannot afford to provide funding for these athletes, these student athletes that come through especially if they're coming from from out of state, from different states coming in, because they pay almost the same amount as internationals do, probably just like $30 cheaper per unit. Especially for international guys, like they don't have funding like that. So when you're watching East Mississippi and Independence have two people per bedroom or 2 people per room, we had, in my experience, I had a 2-bedroom. I had 13 guys living with us. I was staying in a 3-bedroom. I had 17 guys at one point chipping in for rent. But my rent at the end of the month, because we pay rent in a month, per month, not per week, like how the folks do it back in NZ. So I paid rent. The cheapest I've ever paid rent was $90, because it was split in between so many people that my share was only $90. So like you can imagine that we had 3 rooms. We had 4 people sleeping on the floors each room, and in the living room we're having another 4 guys or like 5 guys, or you know what I mean. So like that's the differences, and I think the only similarities that we'll have between my junior college experience, and probably Lance would say this the same thing as well, is that the most recent football one over there in Laney College that was filmed up over there in Oakland, because none of their athletes have any kind of scholarship. So you got some of the athletes living in cars, some of their athletes, trying to finesse their ways on how to live. And my experiences in junior college, I got evicted 3 times, stayed in 4 different apartments, and went homeless 2 times during my whole journey because of that process. Because it was so hard without any funding. You don't want to call home for any help because you don't want to stress your parents out with what you're trying to pursue. You know what I mean? So like kind of facing that barrier of not wanting to reach out, but at the same time like getting stuck and like, damn, we just got evicted because we can't pull our rent. We got a friend's house that we can stay on the couch, and then like, stayed at my friend's house on the couch, and then like, damn, like looking for, can I stay like, we stayed over there. So like when you hear about the JUCO struggle, it really like this struggle between like the other states as well, like in Mississippi and Kansas and all there, they go through struggles as well. I mean, their food ain't the greatest, but they get food for free. But it ain't the best food, but like us in California, and I know Lance couldn't speak for it as well, it's really just you. You're out there grinding. That's why like for people like us, like if you get swarmed up with the temptation, it's because you're kind of really doing a dishonor to your family, or doing a dishonor to the people that you're trying to come out here for, because you're going through so much struggle, and then you're also trying to overcome that so you can get to a certain goal to get your education paid for, but also knowing that you left your struggle from back home. So it is a difference between what you see on TV, between what's actually reality, depending on what state you're in. If you're in California, because like me and Lance we're sleeping on the floor. I didn't have my own bed until my 2nd year in Cal, because I was sleeping in like different apartments, and like I was finally able to get my own room, get my own bed, and like it was smooth, man. I had a nice little queen size, but just having that feeling of lying down, I'm like, man, there's a lot of sacrifices, a lot of adversity to get to the spot. Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, Lone's pretty much said it how it is. Nothing different. California has the biggest, JUCO struggle. As you said, the rate of the JUCOs we have in California is the most in America, and I think that plays a big part for us internationals as well. Well, just referring to the question, this exactly, yes, it is similar to the Last Chance 2 episodes. Whatever you've seen on there, it's a little bit worse on our side, because obviously that's in Florida, and or in California, where we don't get most of the benefits that they do. And I think that's as I was getting back to it, as Lonnie said, like you fall into temptation. That's your hole that you've dug. That's the struggles you've dug for yourself. I've seen, man, my JUCO, I've seen a little apartment, a 2-bedroom apartment with like almost 20 boys in there. Like there was a little like cupboard, storage place, and you'll find the smallest athlete in there with his little mattress, all his luggage, all stuffed in there. It was boys on the couches, the floors, it was stuffed. It's this the struggle that you go through, and it's humbling. It's a sad experience as well because like we're not well off like people, and it's something, a dream that we're trying to chase for, and you got to go through all of these mishaps to get somewhere to breathe, and it's I know that it's if you're gonna go through it, you got to go full ass. You can't go half ass, and it's just something that I know it's a blessing when you come out of it, because the resume you build with like being in a JUCO, people really respect that. Like people will 100% they respect that you come from a JUCO. They know the struggle, and it just molds the character as you really don't want to reach out to your family for help, and it's a big part where you got to play and you got to chase. This is for you. You got to do it on your own, and it's the best you can get is just support. So yeah, I can relate to the Netflix series, and it's sad to watch, but at the same time, it's it boils your blood, boils your blood.
I mean, I would say this too. Like, it was like throughout my 5 years in college, playing. That was my most, there was a blessing and like there was a beauty in the struggle. Is what I'm trying to say. I really enjoyed my JUCO experience. I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it more than I did for my Cal experience. Because there's brotherhoods that you're born, through the struggle, that you can that you're always like, man, like there's a saying from the Hawaiian say like, hey, if you don't eat side men with me, then I don't know who you are. Like, if you don't struggle with me, like in sense it's like, if you struggle with me, then like you're my brother for life, and they are my closest friends, the ones that I struggled with in my junior college years. Because, man, I mean, one positive there, you're never bored. You're never bored. There's always some jokesters cracking jokes, or like you're playing cards, on your downtime, or you're enjoying a beautiful win after the game. Like it's still a beautiful experience, man. And I would never take it back. I love my experience that I went through, even though it was really hard and it was really struggle. It was a big struggle. I would never change anything about it. I really enjoyed my time because, man, it was awesome. I will say that. They don't want to make it feel like it was all sad and you had to rise up before. Like, nah, it was still fun. But like, you just gotta understand, like, you're there for a job. You got a job to do too. Yeah.
Yeah, like without those struggles, like again, Lance hit it on the head too. With it builds character, and now you guys are, you know what being done in the trenches have been for you guys. And where you can head, or where you can your pathway to where you guys are going. Sorry, I just want to touch on back to you, Lone, and how you said you're homeless, man. How is that feeling of like? Because we all have fears in our life. Was that something that was sometimes it's out of your control, or just the struggle of not paying that rent? Was it a fear for you, like, because you're away from home in another country, and you're now living in a car, for example?
No, it wasn't too hard as like it does sound, because I had my two closest friends with me, my boys from Hawaii, and like I'm really close. That's why, like, man, like I consider them my brothers, man, because like I went through it all with them, man. Like we used to go, just wake up in the morning not knowing what we're gonna eat for dinner. But whenever we found food, just like how our Polynesian, like, cause like sometimes our poly clubs will hold events and they have pizza. I was like, man, it takes like, hey, we got pizza over here at this building right now. Come through and we just all eat, and it's just like finding ways. And what you call it? We had a 7-Eleven just right next to our apartments. And we made deals with the guys that were there, like before they throw their food out at 12 a.m., we'll sneak in there and like, hey, can we grab the rest? And they'll give us the food. And sometimes it was different workers that worked that night, and their time was at 2 a.m. So they throw the food out at 2 a.m. So like we'll come in like, hey, like, boys, who's gonna go there right now? So I got it. We'll go over there, just take a little 5-minute walk to the 7-Eleven. We'll wait up there 159, just You know, just it gets colder in the winter in California, and this is the desert. Naturally, it's a desert, so like it's kind of cold. You're just kind of waiting out there, and they come in, and they're like, "Hey, let's go." So like, it's kind of like going through that adversity, but like, you don't really know that you like how bad it was until you kind of look back at it, like, you know, in hindsight, like, damn, I actually was homeless. Like, shit, like, I didn't have somewhere secure to stay. You know what I mean? Like, it was kind of like couch to couch. But like in the moment, you're like, I'm thankful that God placed these brothers in my life for me to do it together with them, because man, like, we finessed our ways into some places, man, and just like we finessed our ways to get some food, and like people just came out and gave some fruit. Like a lot of people like that worked at the school, I would get to know the people that worked at the school at the food courts, because they're more like, hey man, like when do you guys throw your food out? Like when can I come and get, like, you know, if I become real boys with them, if I've been kicking it back with them for a bit, they say, hey, just come around 8 p.m. and I'll give you guys some meals. Like, man, this is literally when I had like $2 in my account, and I can't afford dinner right now. Like, how can I eat? Like, it's things like that you'll learn how to survive, and that's the kind of struggle that I kind of dealt with, and it was honestly pretty cool, man. Like, just kind of looking back, and then like in hindsight, man, like really gone through a lot. But just kind of trying to answer your question, like if it wasn't for my brothers that I was with, like I don't know how I would have done it. Honestly, that's just the real. I wouldn't have been able to do it without them, man. And I'm thankful that God put these people in my life during that time on that journey, because I really needed those dudes, man. Real talk. Yo.
Sure, brothers, man. Fuck. Can only imagine what like you guys are going through. But at the same time, you know, your diet and everything. You don't know when you're gonna have your next meal, but you got, you know, like 3 trainings a day. But your mind's on the training, but knowing at the end of the day, shit, you have to go back and, you know, go back to that struggle. You know, thank you for sharing, because again, we try and you know, these are the gems that we need to hear, is that the boys have been basically saying throughout the whole show, you can't go half-assed when you're overseas and when you're in these programs, because you're going to get found out.
Yeah.
So boys, man, what's the plan? When have you got anything planned for when you leave, or and what I'm talking about is I've just seen I think a post from yourself, Lone, and you know, congratulations. You know, you got your degree, and you've done the hard work, and you're setting yourself up for what's to come after your playing career.
Yeah. For my plans after I'm done with my career, I plan to get, because I love the sport with a passion, and I've a lot of in-depth knowledge, just because I'm coming from, you know, when I had to start, because I went to a junior college that's really good. Like I went to Mount Sac, like that's in SoCal, like people know where Mount Sac is, because like, you know, when I first got here, like, you know, if you start at Mount Sac, you're gonna get a Division I, and like that was my first, you know, interest to like, damn, this is how good Mount Sac is. It's a really prestigious junior college for those who do come to. So like when I had to come here, I had to learn quick. I had to really dial into the details for me to be able to put myself in a position to compete for a starting spot. And I've always had to chase knowing your technique. Because like I've really had to nail that down so I can compete in a high level. When I went to Division I, it was the same thing. When I was at Cal, I really had to go and know my playbook. And I can honestly proudly say, like, even the boys, if they're watching this from my boys at Cal, they know that I knew the playbook better than anybody there. I knew my plays, I knew my technique. I mean, I struggled trying to perform my technique at times, you know, be honest, but like I knew my playbook, and I understood my playbook. I understood my technique. I understood like what I needed to do. But, you know, trying to do it, like knowing what to do and trying to do it is two different things. You know? So, but like, you know, I had to compete that way. So like kind of leaving my college career and having this knowledge of the sport, I want to coach it, because man, I really love it. And I've already started my coaching career. You know, I've started my coaching career here at Mount Sac, where I first started. I'm trying to bless my my athletes, my players with what I've learned from my experience, and then going to where they're trying to go to Division 1, to Cal, to a Power 5 school, and trying to give them the knowledge that I learned from there to these guys now. But and that's my passion. I love the sport. I love coaching my position, and that's what I want to do. That's definitely something that I want to do. I want to stay out here stateside. Hopefully, find a gig close to my wife, so because she's a lawyer. So I think wherever she goes, that's where the home base is gonna be. So hopefully, I can get a spot here. But yeah, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be I plan to be a Division 1 coach. I plan to scout kids from New Zealand. I plan to broaden, the pipeline with Coach Vaca and bringing kids out here, because man, there's guys that I knew in high school that were better athletes than me that I know for sure will kill it here. I played Auckland 18s, Auckland West 18s with Akira Ioane. This guy is as big as a lock and as fast as the winger, and I've seen him, and I know that this guy can play D end here, without no questions asked. Like, there's guys, I've trained against Ofatoma Fasi's little brother. I know Ofatoma Fasi will be a great offensive lineman here. There's players in New Zealand that can play the sport if they just get the right connections, the right pipelines, and the right funding. That can really make it happen. But yeah, kind of strayed away from your question.
Nah, bro. Basically, bro, that's something like
It's good to
giving
know.
back is, yeah.
The sport's in
That's
good
what-
hands back here in New Zealand, eh?
Man, really is, man. Yo.
And for yourself,
That's
sorry.
massive. That's actually a massive reflection of what Jason's trying to do back here.
Yeah.
He's that passion that you just shared of us is exactly the same passion Jason's had for years. I mean, people don't know he still goes back to the States just to scout
Exactly.
old gears for us, and this is old gear.
And he's coming up to the coaching conferences as well, just to learn.
Yep.
He's trying
And
to
it's
expand his
crazy,
knowledge
like-
too.
It's crazy what he's trying to do for the sport here. It just needs to get that right gear kicked in, or for you guys to come back and,
No, I mean, I would say this. I would love for NZ AFF and AFA to kind of get behind Vak, because he knows what he's doing, and I would love for these guys to get behind him, and because I know that we're trying to. The sport's been in New Zealand since the 80s, man.
Yeah.
But we need more athletes to go over, and I want, because if we send more athletes over, and the more chances we have to make NFL, these athletes are only going to want to give back, just like how me and Lance are always going to want to give back. You know what I mean? And if we get more people in our shoes, and have the chance to increase our chances of getting to the league, we're going to put back into New Zealand. We're going to put back into, and everything's going to come back in abundance. Everything's going to come back in tenfold. So if we can just have our community over there really start pushing to get kids out, to focus on. We know we loved our prims and our rivalries and prims. All our hard gridiron clashes over there, Mouthful. We love that, but we also need to start really looking at under 19s development and getting these young kids getting their exposure out there, man. Because we can really make something happen. We just need the right people to kind of focus. Let's start focusing our efforts into getting certain individuals to start being ambassadors for the sport in New Zealand. Then they can hopefully give back. So like how we plan to give back, because it's all about giving back to where you're coming from, man, and just getting that, being able to get some more exposure. The players all from league and rugby who kind of going into these development teams who are really athletic as well, but they might be getting snubbed in their own ways, or if they might be getting snubbed in certain ways where they feel like, man, I'm kind of done with the politics within rugby. They can come try out our sport right here. And they would have a league that's designed to get athletes over there to expand our sport. Because that's when we're going to become a powerhouse. That's honestly how we're going to start becoming a powerhouse. We can start getting our grassroots up. But that's just my opinion, honestly.
Yeah, it's hard because I know when my son was still in college, he said, "Oh, Dad, there's these guys that come and do football things at lunchtime." And I know it's the boys trying to get the programs into the schools, the trainings. And I remember, I think when I was still playing, I think Mags had a lot of prospects come out of there because they were actually training some of the boys, like a rugby team or something like that. They all kind of took a liking to it. So a lot of players came out of there for Colts. And they picked up, I think it was Lions, you guys, Metro, that picked up a lot of players out of there, which was really good. And it was little things like that you knew that there was guys that had the same passion as you guys do now, but they had it back then and they were trying to do the same thing. But I mean, just that lack of support from everyone, the big players of the sport here in New Zealand, I think kind of, just allowed it to fizzle out. Probably because it wasn't because of theirs or something like that. So,
totally agree with you, man.
It's totally it's exciting. It's exciting to hear you guys speak this way and to know that you guys are gonna, not just have a career and an experience and then just keep it for yourselves. But it's really exciting to know that you guys are you guys just can't wait to bring it back. To make to share it with everyone else. So it's actually it's I mean, I played like 9 seasons and I feel like it was just a waste of time because I didn't do anything with it. There wasn't much about it, but I just played it because it was fun. But on the other side of fun, there's opportunities, and these are the opportunities that some kids, they grow up thinking that this is something that they can do when they're older. So, it's massive what you guys are doing. So, big ups to you guys, man. And hopefully you guys can bring it back and we can look back at this podcast and say, man, look, these guys weren't lying when they said they were going to bring it back. Because look at where we are now in New Zealand,
You heard it here
first,
first,
man. It's fun. It's fun.
It's that time of the show where we give the guest the break from answering all these questions, and we just look at positives that we've gotten through the week, the working week, or just advice that you have for just anyone in particular. We try to end it off on a high, and with that, an example could be we'll start with Wills. Wills always has the gems.
Nah, no gems. Just I guess just acknowledgement to the boys and what they're doing. This is part of the reason why I jumped on this podcast as well, is I work with Pacifica boys that are going through the justice system. So either getting in trouble, waiting court, or all that sort of stuff. So this is something that I'm able to replay back to them to say that, look, there's a boy from West Auckland, there's a boy from South Auckland. They got scouted at a young age. They went through adversity. They were able to come back, and now they're wanting to give back to the communities. So I think in saying that as well is some of the boys that do come through the service that I run, there's not that many options. But at least now we could say that, hey, this is another option that we could add to their tool belt. So man, this has been an awesome podcast today, and I guess just from that, one thing from this that I'll take away from Lance is to plant the seed, and the community will grow. That's kind of what I heard from that, and then from Lone is understanding the balance between the athlete and the student. So that's also something I'll take for that. So thank you very much, boys, for your time.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
So
Over to you, Muffy. We always like to start off the high because when it gets to me, it's I don't know why I share.
For me, probably for the younger lads and chicks who are listening, the position that you see these guys who's sitting in right now, it's not just for them, it's for anybody. It's for anybody who's got the heart and who's willing and who's honest about what they want in life. my advice is to chase it. It's like I'm not a superstar athlete or anything, but I'm gonna say the exact same things that they say, which is don't stop chasing it. If that's what you want, then you give it 110, and you go for it and go get it. So yeah, and that can apply not only for football or sports, anything in life. So yeah, whether you're just not sure, just go for it and try it. You never know. So yeah, that's what I thought I'll leave with tonight's show. But thanks again to Lance and Lonnie for jumping on. Appreciate you boys and what you guys are doing.
Appreciate it, Muffy. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
And for me, I'm just gonna say the boys hit it on the head now. There's a couple that I've taken away from both of you guys. Journey is the one being the stuck was, you have to leave the tribe in order to feed your tribe, and that stuck with me deeply because there's a time in your life where you have to leave home, to build that the structure of your house or that platform to come back to and have it there for you or your community in whatever way you want to build. But that's I had to do that too at a young age and try and leave. But, I missed my mum and dad, so I had to go back and stayed with them till I was 40 now. But it can be done. It can be done, and the boys are a testament to that. You can leave home in order to give back. And the boys are, they're just. It's always good to talk to really good guys, really good cunts, that are willing to give back. And another one from Lance is, you have to go through these journeys, and some might call it struggles, to build your character, because character is a big thing in life, and it's what you do with it that will pave the way for the young ones coming through. So to me, man, I appreciate you guys so much because it was a really good chat, and that's something that I'll take away and I'll play this to my kids too, because I was once that little kid that was watching everything on TV, and now I've traveled to places that I thought, shit, nah, you can do it. But growing up in the hood, growing up in OTA, yeah, you try, your mindset is a part of your surroundings or your environment, so that's quickly changed, and it's always good to hear your guys' stories. So thank you so much, brothers, for sharing it, and I'll pass it over to one of you guys.
Yeah.
Nah, yeah,
Go ahead. No, you go.
Nah. We've basically touched base on everything, and but mainly I just want to thank you guys for this opportunity. You guys have the platform for us to speak, and all we are is just athletes. It's you guys that have the platform, and it's a big blessing from God, man. I just want to big shout out to Ryan as well for setting this up. I know that guy. I've known that guy for a while now, and he was actually my trainer for a bit. After my JUCO years, I came back home just to I knew this opportunity was gonna pop up, so I was getting ready to start my training, and he was the process for it. And I fell off track. Unfortunately, I fell off track. It was hard. As trainings are you made me throw up like every single day. So but it was a wake up call. And I appreciate that guy for setting this up, and especially you guys. And big shout out to my partner as well. She's watching, she's tuning in, and my little baby girl right now. 3 more days till I get to see you guys. And thanks guys.
Also,
Just wanted to reiterate something that Mufi said. He went over. If you're willing to prepare for this journey, go at 100%. Cannot repeat, like just in anything you do in life, man, you cannot do it half-assed, man. You gotta put everything into it. You gotta, I bet my life on this. I bet my whole life just kind of what I thought like I was betting my life. And in my situation when I was 19 years old, 20 years old, making a decision to come out here by myself to, a whole big country, and it was a big decision, but in preparation to come to this, like I grinded like I've never grinded before. I put a lot of work ethic into it. At times where like, Coach Vaco, meeting him up at 6 a.m. in the morning, and sometimes, he would test me, and he would wait for me to come and knock on his door and wake him up, to test what like my grind and my want and my desire, and like when he saw that, he knew that like, okay, I'm gonna meet this guy 50%, halfway. And that's like that's that grind that you're gonna need in anything you do in life. You need that grind. Anything you pursue, you gotta take the bull by the horns and really ride or die to it. So you gotta live by it. You gotta really dedicate everything you do in your life because it's gotta revolve around that certain goal. And then I just want to thank the Usos that helped set this up. I appreciate Lance convincing me and telling me like, hey man, you should jump on this podcast. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna jump on a podcast. This is my first podcast ever that I've ever done before. It's jumping out of my comfort zone. But man, I appreciate my Usos Lance telling me to come on. I appreciate you three for allowing us to come on and share this message to this platform. I appreciate everyone that's helped set this up. And man, blessings to all you guys, man. Thank you guys very much. I really appreciate it.
Nah, thank you, brothers, man. It's our honor. Have you guys and share that raw and just everything, just comes out naturally. So, one question before you go. Sorry, I know we're leading up to ending, and you guys don't want to hear this question. What's it like running out in front of like the crowds that you guys have? Like running out, and he's like, bro, just a sea of everything. Like you.
I heard college games are better than like the NFL games and shit. Like the atmospheres are just more crazy.
Yeah.
I heard. Yeah.
I'll say.
I've seen it on TV.
Yeah.
Because you've seen it on TV.
My first game was against BYU, and it was their all-white game. So that was a packed stadium. I believe 70,000 people were there. And man, just coming out and like, pre-game, everyone's kind of coming in, like you see the seats, not filled up. People are just kind of getting their seats, getting their food, getting ready. But when you go back into the locker room and come out, and like the flags are going down, you know what I mean? And like you're running with the flags, and you're like, damn, this is crazy. Like it was crazy. It was an all-white game. They're all wearing white, and all the people are white. It was a cool experience, man, and it's awesome playing in front of a lot of people. At Cal, you don't really get a lot of the home turnout, but the away games, that was me playing at Oregon. That was cool. Oregon was probably my best experience. Yeah, it's lit. It's really lit.
Yeah, I can't speak for like Lonnie on this one. He's already he's lived that Division 1 life. I don't think I haven't got that, but the closest I have to was playing in the European League. So this league I played for was basically a shadow of NFL Europe. So all the teams that were in the NFL Europe, basically this was the first year that it's popped off again. So all those fans in Europe have been waiting for a league like this to pop out again, and saying I think the best game that the stadium was in Düsseldorf. It's way out of our, but it was a real packed stadium, and just running into it, you just see the stands, everybody cheering, like just the noise, the hype, it's out of this world, bro. It's crazy. It's crazy experience. Like you're in the middle of the field, and everyone's watching you, and it's crazy. It's crazy to experience it, man. You see all the colors, all the people screaming, the noise, horns, the bands, everything. It's great, man. It's great.
Nah, thanks for that share, brothers. I always like to kill the show like this, and when I say it's time to end it, I ask another question. So, yeah, Any sponsors you guys want to drop? I know you guys have millions, and we're looking for some of your guys. But where can we find you, brothers? Where can we find you?
Unfortunately, I can't really speak on a few things right now, but there's some talks, but big things coming ahead, and you know, if you're excited, just stay tuned. My Instagram handle, announcements will be made soon, and you know, just yeah. Sorry, I can't really
Stay
speak of
tuned.
anything at the moment.
We're staying tuned.
Instagram. We'll find you on Instagram. Also.
Nah, that guy, Lone is the one you need to be asking.
Nah.
He's the real superstar right there now.
Nah, man. I just wanted to make a shout out to one of the plugs that helped me when I first got out to junior college. They helped pay for my flight getting over there, my first couple years of tuition. I just want to shout out to Phil and Show London from Bull Sports. You know, I appreciate their work that they're doing for, you know, they have a foundation called Bull Sports that sponsors athletes that play in minority sports. And you know, I was thankful that, like, you know, American football is a minority sport in New Zealand, so they funded my initial way, you know. And I'm cool that I'm allowed to say this now, because I couldn't say this back when I was in college, because NCAA is some feds, and they were gonna check me down. But now that I'm done with that, I really appreciate their help. You know, shout out to Bull Sports and shout out to Phil and Shell. But you can find me at Lone_TOAILOA on all handles on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. Just TOAILOA. Yeah, just kind of basic.
Nice.
That's where you can find me.
Thank you, brothers. Thank you guys again. Appreciate you guys for sharing your journey. Teza, by the way.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you for having us.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
Peace.
So.